Hey, greetings, Performance Reviews, where I give the review from the technician's point of view. And today we have a UP19 by Dyson. Now, you don't see a lot of Dysons on my channel. I try to focus on reviewing vacuums I think people should buy. Now, the reason I am reviewing this is Dyson has recently discontinued this model, so you're going to see a lot of these on sale. They have already made millions of these, and I think there'll be a lot of people trying to figure out, is it worth it to buy this, or should I buy this? So I'm going to answer that question in this video. Stay tuned. This is going to be a detailed review unlike any other you've seen on a vacuum cleaner. We're going to go through the vacuum cleaner piece by piece. Then we're going to go in the shop and see how it's made, what the repairability is like. Then we're going to do a pickup test, and I'll give you my final conclusions after using this through my house. Unlike a lot of other reviewers, we don't film on a soundstage. We actually film in a real house using real dirt. So I think the first thing to acknowledge is this is a vacuum you've seen before, and there are more versions of this than I probably can count or name in this video, so in the sake of expediency, we'll just be referring to it as the Dyson ball. Now this one has the upgraded nozzle compared to the 41 or 40, so that's a good thing. This is actually going to clean better than some of the earlier ones, at least in theory. It has the smaller bin capacity, but the larger motor that Dyson made. And this is the all floors, so this is the basic bitch version. This does not come with the additional handheld turbine tool and a couple additional accessories these have been sold with. It's just going to come with the same tool they've been recycling forever, which is a crevice dusting brush combo. This is a horrible tool in my opinion. Crevice tools should be able to get somewhere flat, and putting the dusting brush on this basically takes up half your crevice tool, and then it's not a very good dusting brush. Of course, any complaints I have with these tools, there are Dyson adapters and things that can be had. I'll put a link in the video, but you can get a Dyson adapter, and then you can use whatever tools you want. If you have one of these, I'd highly recommend getting one of these. The upholstery tool, it's nothing special, nothing to write home about, but it's a little bit better thought out than the crevice/dusting brush. Now, all the tools do lock down here. It is easy for the upholstery tool to come dislodged. The crevice tool stays in put pretty well. Now, I want to talk about the swivel neck for a second, and I want you to listen as I do it. So the elephant in the room is that Dysons are made in Malaysia, and they're mass-produced, and most of the price of the Dyson is more reflected in advertising costs than actual building the machine, which is different than almost every other brand out there. So when you get it, you are going to notice it's going to be loose, it's going to feel creaky and weird in the hand, and no, your Dyson's not broken. That's how Dyson products are if you've never owned one. If you can get over the creaking, this is one of Dyson's better swivel necks they put on the vacuum. It's still not nearly as smooth as a typical canister vacuum. And again, there are a lot of other uprights now that have swivel necks, and it really just kind of doesn't quite keep up with those, but it's much better than Dysons were in the past. I have here a canister nozzle, a upright vacuum nozzle, and then I have the Dyson. As you can see, it does bottom out, and the Cyclone pack being right here really does get in the way of a lot of cleaning, so keep that in mind. If you have a lot of furniture or have a lot of things you're getting in and around, you probably don't want to consider this sort of upright. You'd be better off with something like this, or even just skipping the hassle of an upright and going to a canister. All right, one of my favorite party tricks that Dyson and Phantom and that a lot of vacuums have done over the years after Dyson, but they were the first one to really do this, was to put the wand in the handle. And I think that's a very cool idea. Again, it adds a lot of slop to the vacuum, but when you do need to use the wand and the hose, it's fairly nice for an upright, and they give you a nice long stretch hose. I mean, this hose is got to be at least 2 meters long, and the hose is low mounted so that when you do tug on the machine, it doesn't tip over as easily. Now, here comes the elephant in the room. Let's say you don't want to use a meter-long extension, and you just want to use the hose. Then you put your accessories in, but there is no wand storage on board for when you need to use the hose without the wand, and that is super annoying to me and always has been about Dyson products, any other product that has the wand integrated into the handle. Now I want to disclose this Dyson was traded in was given to me by a customer who didn't want it. I fully went through, serviced it. I have changed all the filters, completely taken the machine apart, made sure it is up to snuff. And I think that's maybe the thing a lot of people don't understand with Dyson, is no bags does not mean no maintenance. Quite the opposite. This machine has more maintenance required of it than any bagged vacuum ever will. So every time you vacuum with this, or fill the bin, you have a filter you need to wash on the inside, and these wash fairly easily, but again, you're touching the dirt. And the way that this works, the dirt's going to go inside the filter, not on the outside. So you're not going to know if it's dirty or not until you wash it. Other thing, a lot of people don't know, a few moments later here. So you have expendables with Dyson. Nobody ever wants to talk about this, including Dyson themselves. This is a paper filter. This is what it looks like when it's dirty. It needs to be replaced. And typically, about every 3 to 6 months, this needs to be replaced. What happens if you don't replace this is it will start to leak dust around here and blow the dust back into the room. Cyclones only filter down to 0.5 microns. This filters down to 0.003 microns. This is the only barrier between you and the dust, really, so keep that in mind. Do decide to go with one of these, you are going to need to change this regularly, and that will help extend the life. Now, Dyson has a claim that you can wash this filter, and the reason I'm not telling you to wash this filter is HEPA filters are fine enough that the impurities in the water are actually going to get stuck in this filter. So even though it might look cleaner, you've actually added stuff into the filter. So don't wash or rinse this filter, just replace it. Now luckily I'll put a link below. You can buy these in an aftermarket pack of 3, 5, like 10 of these to your heart's desire. And if these didn't need to be changed, well, there wouldn't be a whole slew of Chinese aftermarket companies for this. Now I want to point out a few other points I really like. This door goes open, so you could, in theory, unclog it if you needed, get something stuck in there that you shouldn't. You can also look in this little hose, and again, you can see these are much smaller fittings than most vacuums use, which really limit the airflow. The cleaner head comes apart like so. Again, maintenance and changing out parts is fairly easy on these compared to some of the older model Dysons. Let me tell you this, under warranty, you will go through probably one of these cleaner heads. And Dyson's warranty, unlike some other manufacturers, is pretty darn good. You call up Dyson, or you walk into a Dyson service center, and they are going to change the parts for you. Pretty much no questions asked. And I think that's a good policy, and that helps keep some of the public at bay. And I will say, I'm basing those examples on the US and what happens in Great Britain. The cleaner head has these throw levers, and you can open this up and get in here. Again, very good. And you can see the very narrow suction path that things have to go in. So when this cleaner head is in place, you're talking about so much for something to go into. And that's been kind of a problem with Dyson over the years, is stuff will build up here. You can expect hair and things like that. Now, you can take this brush roller out if you need. There is no belt to change. If for some reason this brush roller doesn't turn and you change the brush roller, then it's time for a new cleaner head. Again, very simple. This I don't like. This is like an accordion, and this was their idea on a height adjustment, and it really just doesn't work. I'm going to put it on and I'm going to make it seem like a pro, but when you put this on, you need to hold the edges. Now, why do you need to know this in a review? Well, if you own this, you will have to get in here at some point, probably sooner than later. The other thing to note, and it will show in the pickup test, is unlike most vacuums that have a row of brushes on both sides of the roller, this just has a row on one side, which again is going to limit its agitation. These brushes are a little bit stiffer and a little bit better than the original DC-40 brushes, and the motor on here is a little bit stronger and spins the brush roller a little bit faster. Let's see how much working vacuum this thing gets. Those are pretty healthy numbers, and that's one of the reasons you see reviewers, when they first get their Dyson, kind of rate it high. Alright, if you're new to the channel, this is the point where we switch to a studio microphone, so you're going to hear the real sound of the machine. We're also going to do a pickup test with breakfast cereal, flour, cat litter, and fresh pet hair with the brush roller off. Let's see how it does. Well, it left a little bit of flour behind, which isn't too bad, but it blew some of the animal hair around. It's exhausted 360 degrees around the ball area, so if you have these clumps of pet hair, it's just going to blow it around. So you want to be cautious of that when you use it. Now, there's a little nuance I didn't notice until I was filming this video, which is every time you turn it on and off, you then have to reset the bare floor setting. So it's always going to default with the brush roller on. Again, that's a real easy way to scratch your bare floor. Alright, carpet pickup test time. We've got breakfast cereal, flour, cat litter, and fresh pet hair. Let's see how the Dyson does. Now, there is no height adjustment on this. Now, first of all, not having a height adjustment, this was incredibly hard to push on the floor. And as you can see, it didn't lift the pile, it actually laid it down. Alright, yeah, there's cat litter, breakfast cereal. Oh my, there is a lot of... Alright, that just kind of relocated the cat litter. Let's see if there's any hair. A little bit of pet hair. So, this kind of lies part of the problem and why carpet manufacturers, if you buy new carpet, ask if you have a Dyson and then tell you to go buy something else. If you have newer carpet, the newer carpet, especially the stain resistant stuff, isn't porous and doesn't allow air to pass through it. And not having a height adjustment on here is a big problem with that. And it allows this brush to get basically sucked down to the carpet and not clean it efficiently and allow airflow to go. As far as carpet cleaning goes, that is not its strong suit. And I think the fact this is not on the Carpet and Rug Institute's approved list of vacuums would back that up. So because this machine has no carpet height adjustment, something, you know, a $100 Hoover would have, it's really hard to push. I don't think somebody... I must be putting 30, 40 pounds of pressure on that to make that move across my carpet. It is not the right tool for my carpet, and that's why you'll see a lot of people ask online, why is my Dyson so hard to push? Well, that's why your Dyson's hard to push. What I'm about to say in terms of stair cleaning with the Dyson is not so much a unique problem with the Dyson as it is the problem with trying to use an upright in a house that has stairs. Why it does balance on the stairs a little bit, again, no room, no place to set the wand, and you can kind of see just how all the tools fall off this machine. Anyway, so we've got the upholstery tool on. Right away, just like the Dyson manual tells you, put it on the bottom of the stairs. Do not try to do this on top of the stairs. Ideally, if you have stairs, you should go take a look at a canister vacuum or a central vacuum installation. So let's see how this machine does on the pet hair and the debris I put on the stairs. So the performance of this upholstery tool, even though there are no spinning brushes, excellent. And that's because it has lint pickers, and you've now concentrated that power down to a 4-inch wide tool. Again, very good. No complaints about that, unless you are trying to go up the stairs. Yeah, you will do a half a landing of stairs, but again, this is an upright vacuum. It's really not meant for doing this anyways. So my cat likes to chew cardboard boxes, and one thing I constantly have to vacuum up are these cardboard crumbs. He leaves them everywhere. Most vacuums, this is not a problem. I have never had a machine struggle on large debris pickup like that. I guess you could call it large debris. It doesn't seem like large debris to me, like this machine. And again, because there's no height adjustment, you end up having to pick the whole machine up and lift it up. A lot more difficult than, say, a typical canister vacuum. It's time to empty the Dyson. If you're not familiar, vacuum dust is pretty hazardous to breathe in. You always want to go outside. Do not do this inside your house. This will give you lung disease if you repeatedly do this inside your house. So go outside to a trash can, do it in a well-ventilated area. The cord length at 30 feet is decent. It's not class leading. It's not too short though. I think for the size of house this vacuum's intended to clean, that's just fine. I'm not even a quarter way through my house and this thing's already full. I have to go empty this. I cannot imagine trying to clean a house with this thing and having to go empty it 3 or 4 times. It's really inconvenient, especially considering there's not a bag vacuum. I can't just run through my house for at least a month before I need to do anything with it. I don't see this as convenient, and I don't see this as easy. And I don't think you should either. And that's kind of its big flaw. It's not convenient. The accessories are not convenient to use. Its controls are not particularly convenient. It will clean low pile carpet somewhat. It will do okay on hard floor, but it's bulky, hard to push, and I'm glad I didn't pay $600 for this. And I think if you were somebody who was one of the early adopters who had to pay, $500, $600, sometimes $700 for these models, you'd be really disappointed. Now, as it stands, these can be had for between $250 and $350, and you know what? It feels like that feels about right for this. I would rather have a basic Henry or Hoover Wind Tunnel T in that price range personally. It's a lot better than, say, a Bissell, a Shark, a Dirt Devil that you get. And I think that's why so many people say good things about Dyson, because they've come from the worst of the worst, and this is mediocre at best. And mediocre is better than the worst of the worst. And that's where I'm going to leave it. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. That helps us so much. Hit subscribe if you want to see the latest thing in vacuum cleaners. We do vacuum cleaner stuff all year round on the channel. If you want to talk about vacuum cleaners, get in the comment section, leave a comment. So if you've sat through this whole review, thank you so much. I'll have a playlist of recommended vacuums at the end of this video. I think that will be really beneficial if you came here looking for a new vacuum.